Today we'll be once again working on an 04 Monte Carlo. Last episode we took and we did a available voltage test on the headlight. Customer had gotten it replaced and it was still burnt out. So we just went in, we made sure the circuit was all good in it, made sure that it was in fact the bulb before we just took and threw parts at it. While we were doing that, doing the available voltage test, we did notice that the bulb was not getting as much voltage as it should. So today we're actually going to be going ahead and taking the first step in diagnosing it, which is to do a voltage drop test. Basically what that's going to do is we're going to go through and see if the reason where that voltage is going is on the power side of the system or on the ground side of the system. If we do take a look at the schematic, we do know that it is actually all-time power to the headlight, and it's like switched ground that actually decides to turn it off and on. So we'll go ahead and jump right into our materials needed for that. As far as materials you're going to need, first and foremost, it's always a good idea to have your schematic right there and out for you, so you can take a look at your circuit and your system of the electricals and just get familiar with it so that you know how it works, what's going on with it. Second of all, a lot of times you just want something to write with. You know, a nice pen, make sure it's reliable. Third is, in order to test all this stuff, you will need a multimeter. You know, they're cheap. You can find them on Harbor Freight for, $10. Nothing that'll break the bank. And finally, you need some T-pin connectors. In this case, we don't actually have T-pins, but they work just the same. That's just going to go ahead and we can put those in the connectors so we don't damage them at all. And also so that we can back probe the connectors, which means we can test it while the system is running, or loaded, if you will.
So the first thing we want to do is look at our schematic, make sure we're connecting and testing the right locations.
All right, first thing we want to take a look at is we are doing the passenger side high beam. So if you want to take a look right here, this is actually what we're going to be looking at. And from here, we can actually follow the lines up. Right here, we see dark blue. That's going to be our positive. And we can actually follow this up right here and around. And it kind of swings right back up here. We can see that it's always a hot at all times. Whether you got the key on, whether you got your headlights on or not, that is always hot at all time. And that means that more than likely it's going to be a switch ground. And then just to double check, we see that the ground is going to be a pink wire. If we do follow that right down here, it does come into a switched ground connector, which would be your headlight dimmer switch. And it just runs right through here. So now that we know what colors it is, we can jump right into it and we can start putting our T-pins in to start doing the testing.
Okay, so first things off, when we're testing dynamic battery voltage, you want to make sure your system is under load. So in our case, we're testing our high beams, so we're going to turn the lights on. So I'm going to go turn on the lights, and we'll be right back. Alright, so as you can see here, we have our high beams on, since we were testing our high beam circuit. And here we're going to test our dynamic battery voltage. So we're going to touch our leads to the negative terminal of the battery, and then our positive lead to the positive terminal of the battery to measure our dynamic voltage. And here we are getting 1205.
Okay, and it's always a good idea to write this stuff down, just because with dealing with numbers, you'll have to add them all up later. It's always a good idea to just mark them down somewhere so you can, don't forget them.
Alright, so we're going to test our positive side voltage drop. So we're going to touch our lead onto the pin in the positive connector. And the other lead, we're going to touch the positive post of the battery to get our positive side voltage drop. And we're going to be reading, let's see here, was that 0.9? 0.09 for our voltage drop on the positive side.
And then we just
pour that down
over here to write that right here, 0.09, just so we can add that all up later.
And then up next is going to be across our load. So we're going to touch on the ground side of the terminal connector, and then we're going to touch the positive side. And we're reading
9.15 volts. Same thing, we just come over here and do that really quick. That goes right here.
Alright, and lastly we're going to connect our ground side and touch our ground side of the terminal and get our ground voltage drop.
Wait till we get a consistent number here.
Make sure I'm touching the leads.
It's looking like 2.08 volts. Come over here really quick. All right, and then we just have to add all that up. see where we stand, see if we're closer.
Um,
Once you've done your measurements and your tests, it's always a good idea to get another dynamic battery test afterwards. It just shows you, you know, what kind of drop you're hitting from your battery, just from the drain of from the lights. And it just helps with if your numbers are seeming off, that it does go through and just show that, you know, you are dropping a little bit, and if you're missing voltage, that might be what it is. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and add this up really quick. So forgive me, I'm terrible at math. But just right here, we got 915 and 09. That's gonna be 9.24 volts, and plus the 208. That is going to be 11.32. Sorry there, camera ran out of frame. So we're looking at about 11.32, which means we are missing about, it'd be 0.79 volts, 0.78 volts, excuse me. However, towards the end, we did that voltage test, our second dynamic test, it did come to around 11.3. Let me double check on that really quick. 11.8. So that is actually going to be more closer to missing half a volt, which could be corrosion in the lines, whatever. So the test did show that we are dropping about 2.08 volts on the ground side, which tells me that could be part of that switched ground system there, or that could just be corrosion in the lines. We need to do more testing, diagnostics to fully understand. But for right now, that's the voltage drop test. It's really not that hard a procedure. It is a little time consuming, but you know, once you got it pulled in the shop and the headlight out or something like that, you know, it's really not too bad once you know what you're doing. But that'll pretty much wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for watching.